Hi everyone, my name is Anna and I'm the Teen Librarian at Roselle Public Library District. I'm here today to talk with you guys about bullet journal and kind of who created it and what is it and how can you incorporate it in your life and everything like that. So let's get started. Hopefully you can see the screen of my PowerPoint that I made as well as me. We will see, but hopefully. So here we go. So who created bullet journaling? A digital product designer in Brooklyn, New York named Ryder Carroll first created it, but he didn't create it overnight. He struggled with a learning disability that really made it difficult for him to stay organized and productive. And so because of that, he kind of had to figure out his own way to stay on top of things. And so he, through trial and error and over years of time, created what we know now as the bullet journal. But he didn't call it that at first. He just had his own personal way of organizing things. He first showed his journal to a coworker who was struggling to plan her wedding in 2007. And she said, "Oh my gosh, this is a big deal and you should share it with people." And so, eventually he took her advice, and in 2013, he launched the bulletjournal.com website, which is still up. I believe it's just bulletjournal.com. I'll include links in the description below to everything, by the way. I'll include links for the products that I use, which I'll show you a little later, and his website as well. So I'll include all that in the description. But yeah, he launched his website in 2013, which you can now go to. They have a shop, they have a blog, it's a really interesting website, and I would encourage you to go look at it if this is something that you really want to do. I will tell you that you do not need the bullet journal like from their website. You can get the journal anywhere. And again, I'll show you the products that I'm currently using for my bullet journal. But that is kind of just a really quick overview of who created the bullet journal and how and why and everything like that. So the biggest question everyone always asks is like, what is a bullet journal? And on their website, they say it is conscious living, meshing mindfulness with productivity, which is a nice way of saying, what it is. But I feel like a straight answer is that it's a planner, and it will track anything and everything that you want it to track. But at its core, it's a planner, like a monthly planner, a weekly planner, things like that. But it's more than that. But that's the essence of what it is. So a bullet journal is, you can create monthly layouts, weekly layouts. You can even do daily and hourly layouts, things like that. So it is a planner, but it's completely customizable. So if you want to track, if you're a gardener and you want to track the last time you watered or fed your plants, you can put that in your bullet journal. If you are trying to be more mindful of your physical health and you want to track your water intake and food intake and exercise, you can put that in your journal. If you, I don't know, are a librarian and you have a million books to read and you need to keep track of them somehow, you can put it in your journal. You can put really anything in your journal. I know that I use mine differently than most, and we'll get into that. But you can really track anything that you want to. There are different ways of doing it, and there is no right way, and there are endless ways to do it, and I want that to be clear. This is supposed to be what works for you. So if you find yourself really stressing over your bullet journal, you're not doing it right. It is supposed to be what works for you, however that is. And again, you're only going to find that out through trial and error. But once you figure out a method that works for you, it's great. It's just a very nice way to stay organized. But that is, in essence, what it is. It is a planner, but it is also a journal, and you can do anything that you want in it. So that is kind of what it is. So what supplies do you need to start? Here are all of the supplies that I'm currently using. I got all of them except for the handmade modern brush marker I got the handmade modern brush markers from Target, but everything else I got from my local Staples, and it was all less than $10. And I didn't even need the washi tape. You don't need the washi tape. I just really like washi tape. Honestly, all you need to start bullet journaling is a notebook. And this is the notebook I'm using. I have a picture of it on the screen as well. It's called the Markings Bullet Journal Log. It's $9 or $10. It's $9.99. $10. Excuse me. So the bullet journal on the bullet journal website, I believe is, anywhere between $12 and $20. And you can get really fancy bullet journals for, astronomical prices. And that's fine if that's what you're into. But if you just want to, you're not sure about it, you just want to try it out, you don't want to invest a lot into it, you don't even need the pens and markers or washi tape. All you need is a notebook. And not any normal notebook. Of course, you could use a normal lined notebook, but generally what's popular is, it's called a dotted journal. And so this is kind of what it looks like. So it's almost like graph paper, but instead of it being distinctive lines, it's little dots. And that's generally the most popular method for, or not method, but that's generally the most popular notebook for using bullet journaling. And that's because it's completely customizable. You can make tables, you can draw pictures, you can add stickers, you can do whatever you want. But it helps you stay symmetrical. And, for those people like myself that measure out boxes with a ruler that I have handy, it's nice. It's nice to have a dotted journal, but you don't need that. So if you just want to try it with a lined notebook that you have at home, you can totally do that too. But I would suggest getting a dotted journal because it allows you to do all the really fun layouts that you can find on Pinterest, which we'll get to that in a minute. I think I'm going to start talking about layouts. I think that's the next slide. But yes, you can totally get, this is like my bullet journal mug, but I have brush pens, I have highlighters, I have colored pens. I have a little ruler from when I was 5. I have other stuff in here that I don't need, but Sharpies, you can use however much or however little you want. Literally, you just need a notebook and a pencil. If you want to make it fun, you can get brush pens. If you're a very creative person, if you're into calligraphy and drawing and things like that, I would highly recommend going to Pinterest. They have a lot of really, really beautiful layouts. If you are not creatively inclined like myself, I would stay away from Pinterest because you start comparing your bullet journal to others and then you kind of feel bad and then you don't do it and then you miss meetings. Not that I would know from personal experience, but do what works for you and don't compare yourself to anyone else. So yes, the main thing that you need is a notebook, and you can go crazy with stickers and post-it notes and brush pens and whatever else you want to include, but you don't need that stuff. You just need a notebook. So yeah, I would recommend, honestly, this Market Bullet Journal log that I got. I've used probably 3 or 4 different types of bullet journals, and this one is by far my favorite. I really like the feel of the paper. I like that it opens really easily. It's not snapping back or anything like that. It's a pleasant notebook to use. So I would honestly recommend the Markings Bullet Journal log. And again, I got that from Staples in my local area. So, I'm sure you can find something similar. But moving on, so what layout options do you have? So apart from the traditional layout options like a monthly and a weekly and daily, which I'll show you mine, apart from those, sorry, my cat is playing with something. That's fine. So apart from those kind of typical ones, and I can show you now kind of what they look like. But so this is my monthly one, so I drew all these different squares and then I put in days of the week and, put up here Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then the, you know, the numerical days. And you can be fun with it. I added some washi tape, I added some stickers, I added this like little to-do list here. You can get fun with it if you want. I don't typically do this because it takes a long time and I don't have a long time. Like some people will find this really therapeutic and they'll do this for an hour because it's just really relaxing to them. I find it stressful to do something like this because I don't have a lot of time. I don't want to draw all the boxes, but I did have some time and I wanted to show you guys kind of what a monthly layout looks like. So that's an example of a monthly. And then a weekly, I think I have two options in here. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe not. Oh no, I do. Cool, 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 cool. Okay, so this is one example of a weekly. Again, I added stickers, I added washi tape, I made the boxes long, so it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, and then I added the things that I have to do. But let's say that you don't like the look of long, thin boxes, then you can do something like this. And you can have, you know, fat, short boxes instead of like the long, thin ones. You can do that instead. And that's kind of the essence of bullet journal is like, oh, I don't like this layout. I'll try a new layout and, you know, things like that. So that's an example of a weekly. Here's one of a daily, and I didn't use this one because I do not like it, but I drew it out so you guys could take a look at kind of what it looks like. But this is an example of a daily. So you have your to-do list, you have your water intake, food intake, if I exercised, what mood I was in, the weather, and any notes. And you can totally customize this. You can, you know, take out the mood and put in whether you watered your plants. You can take out the food intake and, you know, whether you did your chores, paid some bills, like use it however you want to use it. But again, this took me probably like 10 minutes to set up, and I don't have 10 minutes every morning. So I think I have another daily in here. Do I or no? I don't. So that's the only daily that I'll show you is that one. That's an example of a daily. There's also people who do hourly. And again, I don't use hourly, so I wrote it in here so you guys could see, but you would write the date on the top and you'd start at a specific hour. I started at 7, and then you just go all the way to the end of the day and you plan out your hours. Now, for some people, this really, really works for them. And they will plan out like when they get up and when they shower and when they'll have their coffee and when they go to work and when they have meetings. I found that really overwhelming for me because if it was like, oh, I'm supposed to take a shower at 7:30 and it's 8 o'clock, I'm already behind. I've already ruined my day because I didn't take a shower. So if I use an hourly, which I really don't, but if I do, I generally just put in meetings, appointments, you know, things like that, things that will affect other people. And if I take a shower 5 minutes before that meeting, then that's on me. But that makes me feel a little better. It shows me the chunks of free time that I have instead of filling up every single hour with something. But for some people, that's really calming. And if that's calming for you, go for it. I envy you. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'll show you what I currently do. Or actually, before I show you what I currently do, let's talk about other options. I just looked at the PowerPoint and forgot. I went on a tangent. My bad. So aside from the layouts that I just showed you, the monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly, you can do anything that you want. And I have some examples here. If you want to save money and you want to budget better, or you're trying to pay off debt, or you want to save for a vacation, you can do a budget spread. If you just Pinterest or Google bullet journal budget spread, you know, 3, 4, 5, 10 different options will come up. And you can feel free to like customize, you know, like, well, I like this aspect from this layout and I like this aspect from this layout, and I'm gonna mesh them together and create my own layout. Like, great, super. Again, it's supposed to work for you. So don't follow the layouts that you see on the internet to a T. Make it work for you. Another example is meal planning. My husband and I do this, a version of this on our whiteboard in the kitchen, where we will plan out our meals for the week, and then we make our grocery list based off of those meals, and then we meal prep on Sundays. But you can put a meal plan in your bullet journal, so you have it with you at all times. And you can put your grocery list in your bullet journal, so you have it with you at all times. A popular one that I did last year, I did not do it this year, is the book list. And so people will draw like a bookshelf with a bunch of empty books on it. And then as you read a book, you will write the title and color in that book. I did that last year. It was really, really fun. I didn't fill up my bookshelf, and I was a little ashamed of that, so I didn't do it this year. But you know, you can do like movie list. If you don't really like books and movies are more your thing, you could do like a film reel. And then the little pictures on the film reel are movies that you've seen. And you know, you put the title of the movie and color it in. So, you know, it's whatever you're into. The last example I have on here, I would do with caution. It's for passwords. I have a place that I've written down my passwords. It is not in my bullet journal, but some people want everything in one place. And so I just wanted to include that to let you know that that is an option. You can definitely do things like passwords, you know, account numbers, things like that. Just please be cautious when doing that. And I would not recommend it. But again, some people do. So I did want to include it. I believe that's all the slides. Yes, it is. So I'll stop my screen sharing if I can. Stop share. Hello. So let's go on to what I currently do for my bullet journal. So I currently use a mix of my phone and a bullet journal, because generally when I'm making appointments or putting in my schedule for work, I'm on my phone. So it makes more sense for me to have my appointments on my phone. So that's kind of how my calendar looks. I use Google Calendars. You can use, you know, the iPhone calendar, an Android calendar. I use Google because if someone needs to know, like if my mom needs to know my schedule for the week, I can just share my calendar with her. Makes it super simple. But so I use this to put my appointments in, things that will affect other people, my work schedule, my doctor's appointments, when I get paid, my you know, home appointments, because our house is under construction right now, things like that. I will put that in here, and it's nice because it will give me a notification reminder saying like, hey, you have this thing coming up, which I appreciate. So I use my phone for that, for like appointments. And I use the bullet journal as sort of like a snapshot of my day. So like, for example, I have a monthly spread. My monthly spread is really simple. It is this. I will put the month on top, and I will put my to-do list. Oh, I did that already. Whatever. And I will put my to-do list for the month, and I will keep adding to that to-do list as the month continues. And then as I do things, I mark them off with an X. And then that's just letting me, it's nice for me because it shows me that I did do stuff over the month. Because, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, the month just flew by and I didn't do anything. And it's nice because it shows me like you did all of this. And it also shows me what I still need to do. And then in general, I don't use a monthly or a weekly spread. I use it just a daily spread, not an hourly either, just a daily spread. And I kind of have mixed layouts together. So this, because it works for me, Some people like to have kind of like a budget layout and a meal plan layout and a book layout and a password layout. And I found that really overwhelming to have like 5 different layouts for 5 different things. And I was like, that's not organized to me. That's just overwhelming. So I combine all of the layouts into one very plain looking layout. So this is my layout that I do. And I usually try and get the week in one page, but sometimes I don't. Um, sorry, I'm gonna shake the desk and then I'm gonna go over here. Okay. So what I do is I will write down the date and I will put any appointments that I have. So I had a doctor, so on June 8th, I had a doctor appointment at 9:30. So I put, okay, you have a doctor appointment, and then you have a library program that you have to run. And those are the things that I need to do. Well, actually, this one's better because I forgot to color code here. This one's better. So I'm going to the library from 4:30 to 9. I have to call my insurance. I have to order a new mask, and I have to visit my mother-in-law. These are the things in purple that I need to do today. And that keeps me on track. It's like, okay, what do you need to get accomplished for the day? Have you accomplished what you need to for the day? Things like that. In blue, I try and write things that I did throughout the day that I want to remember. So like I wanted to remember that June 9th was so hot and our air conditioner was broken. So it was so hot. And I also want to remember that I watered Chester, which is my plant, my pothos plant. I named him Chester. But I wanted to remember that I watered him on June 9th so I don't overwater him. So in blue, I'll put, those are the things that I did that I want to remember. And then in green is the things that I need to still do that aren't immediate. So this says change Marimo water. Marimo is another type of plant. It's like an aquatic plant. So I have to like change its water. But anyway, so so I kind of put everything into one, and it's not, it's not flashy like this, it's not flashy and colorful with washi tape and stickers. And I like doing this occasionally. This works better for me. So the combination of my phone that has my appointments, and I check my phone in the morning and I say, okay, these are the appointments that I have today. And then I put all the appointments and everything that I need to do. And then I write down things about the day and things that I still need to do. This works for me. It could totally not work for you, and that's completely fine. The whole point of the bullet journal, as I've been saying this whole time, is that it's for you to be organized and productive. So do what works for you. I found that this works for me. This combination of phone bullet journal works for me. So that's kind of what I do. It's almost like a little diary, of kind of what I did that day. And so I like that. But again, you might be super creative, into calligraphy and drawing and doodling. And then I would encourage you to do the separate layouts and to really get artsy with them and have fun with them. But if you don't have a lot of time, don't feel like that's the only way to do the bullet journal. It's whatever works for you, however plain or decorative that is. So I think that covers everything. I went through supplies and layouts and kind of what it is. If you have any questions, I will put my email in the description. You're free to reach out to me, ask me anything about bullet journaling or anything else. I might not have the answers for anything else, but I will have the answers for bullet journaling. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in future programs. Thank you. Bye-bye.